Hello, great people. The governor of Lagos State, Babajide Sanwo-Olu, is reportedly in deep trouble with his political godfather, President Bola Tinubu. Sanwo-Olu, according to security reports that was sent to the table of the president, was reportedly being accused of secretly channeling funds to the political enemies of the president in the person of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar of the PDP and Mr. Peter Obi of the Labour Party during the 2023 general election. On this episode of Politics with Dr. Omoshola, I will be telling you some of the exclusive that was reported. Shout out to People's Gazette for their exclusive reporting, and I will be sharing it with you. I'll be telling you what you need to know, the reaction of Bola Tinubu, and what is the likely fate of Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu. One thing I can tell you is that Sanwo-Olu is not in the excellent book of the president before now because of the case of Mudashiru Obasa, the Speaker of Lagos State House of Assembly that was impeached and reinstated. So this case of allegedly channeling funds to the opposition, add fuel to fire for Babajide Sanwo-Olu. Now, how did the Tinubu team was able to uncover that, and how did Sanwo-Olu land in big trouble? It is one of Sanwo-Olu's ally by the name Aisha Achimugu that landed Sanwo-Olu in deep trouble. It was the investigation of Aisha Achimugu that brought problem to Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and I'll be telling you the details of what transpired on this episode of Politics. Now, let me first of all tell you that of Aisha Achimugu before I go into that of Obasa. Then I will link both together and connect it to the presidency. First, Aisha Achimugu was being investigated by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission (EFCC) in 2022. But when Aisha was being investigated, she rushed to court to seek the protection of the court, that the court should give her the opportunity of protection, that the EFCC should not arrest her, should not charge any case against her, should not investigate her, and should not harass her. The court grants her prayer. And when the court grants her prayer, but in 2025, the court vacated that order that the EFCC have the right to investigate her, and that's where she landed into deep trouble. You may be wondering that Sanwo-Olu is the political godson of Bola Tinubu. Aisha Achimugu is a very close ally to Babajide Sanwo-Olu, and President Bola Tinubu is the overall godfather in the Lagos political circle. And Bola Tinubu being the president, should Aisha Achimugu, an ally of Sanwo-Olu, should she be arrested in any way or manner whatsoever? This is the story. In 2022, when they tried to arrest Aisha Achimugu, she rushed to court, and when she went to court, she didn't know that eventually Bola Tinubu would become the president of Nigeria. So when Bola Tinubu became the president, and she allegedly tried to resolve the case, the EFCC did not agree because she was the one that took the EFCC to court. So they said, okay, let the court decide the case. Let the court, since you are the one that went to court. Unfortunately for her, the court now gave judgment against her. But in the course of that particular case, the EFCC have continued their investigation. They have been unearthing series of things against her. Now, this is where the problem now lies. They now discovered that Aisha Achimugu has been allegedly laundering money for Babajide Sanwo-Olu, that she has been keeping some money allegedly for Babajide Sanwo-Olu abroad. And in the course of investigating the funds in the diaspora abroad, they are now investigating her transactions locally. They now discover that Achimugu channels some funds to the PDP and the Labour Party as a compromise during the 2023 gubernatorial election in Lagos State, which I will still come to in a moment. So in the course of the election, the funds were allegedly sent. And if you look at it very well, Aisha Achimugu, if she sent funds, she is not a politician. So the EFCC thought that she must be acting on the order of a particular politician. And the politician that is apparently the most close person to her is Babajide Sanwo-Olu. So when they discovered that, they already sent that report to the president, and the president was shocked. He was blown away that why would Sanwo-Olu decide to behave like this? Why would Sanwo-Olu ever think of, channeling funds in any way or manner to the opposition? The president was reportedly angry that I brought you into power. Definitely, Lagos State is a state that I am deeply in control of. And by the time this thing happened, I have already won the presidential election anyway. So the governorship election is coming. So if no matter what happens, APC will still win because there will likely be a bandwagon effect. And at the end of the day, even if you lose the election, you are rest assured that you will not go home empty-handed, because I have already won the presidency. So why the desperation? So Tinubu was reportedly very, very angry with Babajide Sanwo-Olu in such a way that he felt betrayed. And there were reports that Tinubu has experienced political betrayal in the course of his political life, but this particular one hit him very, very hard. And the reason why this one hit him so hard is because the people that Babajide Sanwo-Olu allegedly channel funds to through Aisha Achimugu are his political enemies, are people that want to bring him down by fire by force. And if you look at it, well, why would Tinubu not be angry? Because the election was not just conducted. Even after the election, the opposition went as far as bringing monumental embarrassment to Bola Tinubu. You remember the Chicago case, the drug scandal, the certificate scandal. So Tinubu was pained that these people went all out. You know, they didn't even kind of like mind anything. They leave no stone unturned, to use that word, to make sure that they tried to ridicule him and, you know, deny him the mandate that he reportedly got from Nigerian people, according to INEC. Now, for Aisha to be declared wanted, it points to one thing: either Sanwo-Olu or Aisha Achimugu herself is out of clique. And it points to Sanwo-Olu himself, because if Sanwo-Olu is truly in the right clique, you know, I told you that Nigeria is a no sin and all sin country. If Sanwo-Olu is truly in the right clique, definitely, even if it remains 1 minute for Katakata to burst, Sanwo-Olu would have been able to kind of like, you know, fuel the fire. But for Sanwo-Olu himself to have not been able to kind of like end this before now, it shows that Sanwo-Olu himself is not either in the right clique or has fallen out of, you know, should I say, the A-rated clique, if I can use that word. So for me, that points to the weakness of Babajide Sanwo-Olu himself, not as a governor, but as a much touted political godson of Bola Tinubu. But one thing I can tell you is that, let us look at it from this angle. Sanwo-Olu would ordinarily not fund Atiku and Obi. Ordinarily, he has no reason to. But then, if you look at it well, Sanwo-Olu would have to fund them because he is scared of losing. He doesn't have any reason to fund the APC and PDP at that time, because Lagos is a traditional APC state. But then, the 2023 presidential poll dynamics made him to do the unexpected. Let us look at it. In fairness to Sanwo-Olu, power is addictive. If you are the governor of Lagos State and people have been hailing you, oh, Mr. Governor, Mr. Governor, Mr. Governor, and you think that nothing can happen to you because of Bola Tinubu. If you see Bola Tinubu, you know, lose the state, now you want to still be in control of the state. You are not interested in being a minister. You are not interested in being an ambassador. You are interested in further being the governor of Lagos State. Definitely, you want to press one or two buttons to save yourself. And that is why one cannot blame Babajide Sanwo-Olu, because he went to the extreme, allegedly, because he wants to save himself. Power is addictive. He wants the second term, and he believes that this is what he can allegedly do for him to gain the second term. So before you blame Sanwo-Olu, if you are in his position, you may as well do the same. And now let us flip the coin and look at Bola Tinubu himself. There were words during the election of Goodluck Jonathan, when Goodluck Jonathan won after the late president Yar'Adua died. There were reports that the former president Goodluck Jonathan allegedly called for a meeting with Bola Tinubu to kind of like, seek some alliance and his support. And that's why people were saying that in that particular election, the Tinubu boys, they didn't go all out the way they used to go. They were just relaxed, and at the end of the day, Jonathan eventually won. So for Tinubu to kind of like make such compromise that time, and also if there's a stumbling block to the election of Bola Tinubu in 2027, there's high tendency that Bola Tinubu himself may make such compromise. But what I can say is that for Sanwo-Olu to have made that compromise without the knowledge of Bola Tinubu, we can't rule out the angle of betrayal in that particular regard. But one thing that we must not overlook is that if Achimugu truly channel funds to the Labour Party and the PDP, did it channel it to Alhaji Atiku Abubakar directly, or did it channel it to Peter Obi directly? Because some of these political agents, there's a way they behave in the sense that they may collect money from Aisha Achimugu, and Peter Obi will not even know. Alhaji Atiku Abubakar will not even know. They will pocket the money, and at the end of the day, they would have think that, well, the money is there. So is Alhaji Atiku Abubakar aware, and is Peter Obi aware? That's one thing perhaps the DSS, the police, needs to investigate. But the truth is that if you didn't know and you got to know, if you are Bola Tinubu as well, you would be angry. But then, if the money was channeled to the agent of the party, can we blame Atiku Abubakar and can we blame Peter Obi? And did the funds get to them in any way or manner whatsoever? So I think the security agencies still have a lot of background check to do as regards the channeling of the fund. But either which way, Babajide Sanwo-Olu is in deep trouble because the president expectedly got very, very angry, and it is right for him to be angry. Also, it is not too right for him to be angry because he himself have made some political compromise in the past as well. He himself benefited from the party disloyalty of Nyesom Wike, Ayo Fayose, and the popular G5. Then, you know, that refused to support the candidacy of Alhaji Atiku Abubakar. And if you look at one thing, power, as I said, is addictive. So as Tinubu will go all out to gain power, Sanwo-Olu himself will go all out to gain power as well. And Sanwo-Olu, to come on the angle of Obasa, Sanwo-Olu landed in deep problem because when Obasa was impeached, the president reportedly, fingered the hand of Sanwo-Olu that how would you people remove the number 3 citizen, somebody that I kept there, without my knowledge? That is political coup. And when the president investigated, they found the hand of Sanwo-Olu allegedly in the removal of Obasa. And when words came from the president that they should facilitate the reinstatement of Obasa, Sanwo-Olu didn't, he wasn't super active in facilitating that reinstatement. So when Obasa was reinstated, the Obasa political circle and some of the political boys that were 100% loyal to Bola Tinubu, they began to reason the matter of Babajide Sanwo-Olu. So they began to kind of like look into him. What was his interest? Why would he want to remove what would he be interested in the removal of Mudashiru Obasa? To what end? For what gain? To what for what purpose? So that itself landed Sanwo-Olu in deep problem because they were beginning to reason this matter and they were beginning to shine their torchlight into every dark areas in his life, particularly politically. But if care is not taken, Babajide Sanwo-Olu may eventually be impeached, depending on the mood of the president. If the president wakes up on the wrong side of the bed and decides that Sanwo-Olu, enough is enough, definitely Sanwo-Olu will be impeached because Obasa is the speaker, and those people that are there in the Lagos State House of Assembly, most of them emerge out of political compensation. Maybe Tinubu knows you and he wants to compensate you, and he decides that, okay, what can he use to compensate you? And you are more than contesting for House of Rep. He can tell you that, okay, nominate somebody to become an House of Rep member. So all of them, they emerge from the political tree of Bola Tinubu. In Lagos State, Bola Tinubu is in charge, and also is the president of Nigeria, is the commander-in-chief of the armed forces. So if Sanwo-Olu is not careful, he may end up being in people. What I can say is that it is not too late. Sanwo-Olu can still make friends with his political godfather and try to right his wrong in the sight of Bola Tinubu. Else, he will be a gunner if care is not taken. It's been an interesting time with you on this episode of Politin with Dr. Omoshola. Did you subscribe? Turn on your notification button. See you in my next video. I love you all. Sincere.